Hey, everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Josh Jordan. You can hear us on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. You can also see Josh's work at sportsmaphouston.com. Hit subscribe if you haven't already so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Jalen Carter. Whew, he's opening some eyes like this. What the hell are you doing, Jalen? He's 9 pounds overweight. At 9 pounds heavier than he was just 2 weeks ago. He can't finish his workouts. There's a real possibility he's sitting there at number 12 for the Texans with their second pick. Do you think the Texans, listen, the Texans have eliminated guys from their draft board for a lot less. But that was with Bob McNair. That was with Charlie Casserly, all of those guys. Do you think maybe there's a little bit of different thought there that they would take a risk? Look at guys, risky guys, Laramie Tunsil, Micah Parsons. Look at how they turned out when they fell in the draft. Could Jalen Carter be that guy?
Man, I was thinking about that. Would Caserio go there? You know, would he risk it with all these red flags? I'm not so sure that he's on their board. I mean, the talent's there. I bet D'Amico's like, man, I could do a lot with this guy. But we have seen they've added 3 guys on the line already. But those guys aren't going to be here for a long amount of time. Will they roll the dice on the character concerns, John? I don't know, especially with the legal stuff. I'm thinking no. I don't think he feels like a Texans guy to me.
You know what? You're going to have a strong locker room, I think, with a Jalen Carter. You're going to have to keep somebody. Now, he is going to be a high draft pick, so he's going to walk in there, thinking what he is. If he is a high draft pick, he may fall. We'll see. Falling to 12 would be a real blow to his ego, probably. Is Jerry Hughes a leader in that rock, or he's an inexperienced guy? Most of the guys that are decent football players in that locker room are really, really young. Is Laramie Tunsil the guy that can teach him, hey, I messed up too. Look where I am now, making all of this money. You got to straighten up. Titus Howard, where is he going to get, where in that locker room can he get somebody that he would listen to, actually respect and listen to, so that he may mature a lot quicker than you think?
I don't see it because, I mean, the guys you mentioned, are they going to be here after a year? We'll see if
right.
We just talked about it in another video. These guys are all on 1-2 year contracts at most. Will they even be here after that to influence them, show them the right way? J.J. Watt's been gone for a long time. They don't have that anymore.
You get a talent like that at number 12, though, and I think you just can't pass it. I mean, the Cowboys took a real chance on the stuff that Micah Parsons did in college. It's ugly. It's gross, actually. And yet and that's why he fell. And he's been a real find for the Cowboys. Jalen Carter might be that guy. Of course, he could be, and Isaiah Wilson, too, a guy who never even plays in the NFL because he's got such problems. I don't mind. And listen, and I don't mind defense at number 12 either. I know you're a bit of – Lance has got them taking Drew Sanders, the Arkansas linebacker, at number 12. You're opposed to defense?
I would just prefer offense. It's so hard to get a quality wide receiver in the NFL now to where you're seeing the money that you have to give. Tyreek Hill having to leave the Chiefs. A.J. Brown leaving the Titans and going to the Eagles. It's so hard to find these guys. So I'd like to see them get because I believe they're going to take a quarterback. I'd like to see them get a really stud wide receiver there. I looked at Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 players in the draft, and he's got Jordan Addison like number 8 or 9 as a top 10 player, not a mock draft, just top 10 prospect in this whole draft. So I'd like to see them address wide receiver because I think later in the draft, it's not going to be available to them. And also, I think Brandon Cooks is getting traded. Robert Woods is kind of a nice possession guy, but they need a stud wide receiver. Why not bring him in to develop with your young quarterback?
I'm not sure that he's there. I'm not sure Jordan Addison is. He's small. He seems like just another guy that would be in the slot for the – I don't know that he's going to play outside. That's how small he is. I'm not sure about Jordan Addison. But I would totally disagree with you about finding it hard to find wide receivers in the NFL. I mean, look at the guys that are playing, Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson and Michael Thomas, who doesn't play, but he's a great receiver. All of these guys were taken a little bit later. I mean, it's not like you got to go in the first 5, 6, 10 picks to get a wide receiver in the NFL now. There are a bunch of them that you can find in the second and even third round that turn out to be great wide receivers. I think this is one of the best times in the NFL ever for wide receiver.
I don't really trust our GM to go find a diamond.
Well, now
in
the
rough
Texans are a different story.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's way different with it, but maybe they could get better at it and take somebody a little bit later. You know, Nico Collins was a third rounder. It's not like he's like blowing up the world.
Right.
Yeah, but go get. I think there's plenty of guys. I don't want to waste the 12th pick on a wide unless he's spectacular. And maybe that's the case with Hyatt from Tennessee. Maybe that. I don't like Jordan. Jordan Addison to me is too small. I don't want him at 12.
Well, I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to have a big X wide receiver to make all the difference. And you see guys like Tyreek Hill and Antonio Brown. A lot of these smaller guys can be bona fide number one wide receivers. They're explosive, especially with Casario's history with the Patriots. They get a lot of production out of those slot guys. I as long as it's a great prospect, I'm cool with it. Jackson Smith and Jigba, any one of these guys, Quentin Johnston, whatever your flavor is, Nick Caserio, because, John, they always don't pick the guy that I really want, but often they'll go to the position I want. So whatever research Caserio does, whoever he likes the most, I'd really like them to consider a receiver right there.
Yeah, I just don't want them to reach. I think that's bad GM, and is that just because you need that position that you reach for a guy as opposed to the best player that's available there. The Texans are in such a situation now that if a defensive player, and don't forget, hey Josh, I think we're forgetting, not only were they bad offensively, they're bad defensively too.
They are.
So you need some players on that side too.
100%. I just don't feel like they've done a whole lot on offense and free agency. Robert Woods, I'm just kind of lukewarm on that signing. We'll see how he does. Like I said, I think Brandon Cooks is gone. John Mechie, we just don't know.
Well, you picked up the guard.
You picked up Mason, but
trade.
You also let A.J. Can go, so he's just kind of flipping that spot.
Got a better football player, though.
You do. I want to see some explosive plays. I want to see this offense open up a little bit, and I don't think they're going to find that unless they draft somebody. And a guy like Daniel Jeremiah, I respect him a lot. If he has Addison as a top 10 player in this draft and he's there at 12, I'm cool with that. I want to see some offense, John. Like you watch these games, it is hard to watch with this offense, man. I want to see some excitement. So part of this is selfish a little bit for me, but I think it'll help the team too, because receivers, if you don't get them in the draft, you have to pay a ton of money in free agency. And the Texans, clearly they've shown they don't want to do that, and the receiver has to want to come here. That's part of it too.
Yeah, well, that'll depend on who that second pick is, and getting somebody that's decent there. Then I think then the guys will come. I just want best player available. If it's a wide receiver, I'm fine with that as well. But they need so many positions. Whatever, get the best. Get a good football player. That's my motto.
Yep.